Right back on the News VPM, thanks for staying on. The creative industry has received a boost with the rise of artificial intelligence. Film and TV storytellers, especially on the African continent, now have more creative ways of transforming the sector. Now, tell us more about the benefits of artificial intelligence in the creative sector. I'm joined by Zenobia Simelane, head of the School of Media City Academy. Zenobia, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
History was made this week. We saw for the first time an AI-generated country song hitting #1 of the billboards. I don't know if it's a similar situation when it comes to film and television. Is AI taking over?
AI is not taking over. AI is an opportunity for us to tell our stories on our own terms. Africa's for the longest time been the underdog, having to follow first world trends and global West trends. But precisely for that reason, we can take the opportunity to be the generators of our own content and use AI to fast-track us on a lower budget. So it is not the enemy. It's an opportunity. Yeah. AI can't replace cultural relevance. It can't replace humanity. It can't replace who we are. It can't generate the story of who we are. But we can definitely use it to augment who we are as storytellers and creatives. So, yeah, I'm excited for where AI is going to take our continent and our storytelling and creative industries.
People, it's precisely when they hear that word lower budget that they begin to worry. They say, well, now we can do stories with lower budget, which means big companies will no longer require certain services from certain creative contributors for the fact that AI can do it at a lower budget.
Yes, but then more people can do it. It opens up the gates for, while big companies have the monopoly on deciding who has access or who they would contract to do it, maybe the opportunity lies in creating creative economies and creative entrepreneurs from a young age that can ethically implement AI for their own benefits. Because ultimately, if you look at Africa as a continent, and especially South Africa as well, we have a very big youth unemployment problem, right? And we keep looking towards solving that with big investments from external factors, when really we should be looking at using the tools that we have to generate entrepreneurs that can be self-sustainable so that they can generate the jobs. We shouldn't be looking to big conglomerates to solve that. And AI helps us do that because you as a one-man band can become the entrepreneur that employs other people that will feed into that ecosystem. So a lot of small ecosystems rather than one big conglomerate.
Yeah, talk about those ethics. I mean, the ethics of using AI in production. Are you able to tell that this is a story that is generated via AI or a story that authentically comes from a creative contribution?
Yes, we can tell, because AI isn't human, right? And that is why we should expose young people to AI early and teach them the ethics around that. And that also generates jobs because we can't keep looking to government to create the ethical frameworks for AI. We should be teaching people how to ethically use AI and create those frameworks. And that in itself is a new job description, right? So yes, you can tell when something is completely AI generated because it doesn't have the human soul. It's the one thing that AI cannot replace, and that is where our creativity as storytellers and creatives lie.
Yeah, some saying, well, this is just an experiment of some sort, and that will soon wear out, and we'll have to go back to, I suppose, using what we've always been using. Is this just a purely an experiment phase?
Yes, it is, and that's great for us. But I don't think we'll go backwards. I think we will continue to evolve alongside it. And to be honest, we've been using AI since the dawn of computers. Computers is artificial intelligence. We just gave it a name. And so it's a current buzzword that we currently use as something in the distance that we're reaching for, but it's here. It's been with us all along. Animators have used plugins for years, and they've just generated more and more content to fast-track the workflows for them. Visual effects artists has done the same. We've done the same in film, where we combine different artificial intelligence and programs to make our workflows faster. So AI is with us to stay. It will just evolve alongside us, and it's up to us how we use it.
Yeah, talk about that education. You're saying there's a degree of education that needs to happen, especially to the younger generation. Where does that education begin, and what does it cover?
It should. Institutions should focus on work-integrated learning. Not everybody is meant to be in a 3-year degree, right? And we just don't have the capacities. Our universities are exploding. But short, quick, work-integrated learning, where young people actively engage from day one with the work of the creative industries, means that they quickly become self-sufficient and quickly can transfer those skills to others,
right,
and quickly can enter the job market. And institutions like Media City generally specialize in that kind of training, where it's integrated in the workforce, on the set, alongside professionals that can show them how to do it.
Right, you've already mentioned animation, you've already mentioned special effects that are already beginning to benefit, or that have been benefiting really from that type of technology. What are the new areas that are being explored, that are now beginning to benefit?
Ethical frameworks. Someone has to write the ethics around frameworks. AI-generated prompt services, where we need to teach AI how to tell us or give us a human edge, and only humans can help AI generate those content. There's so many prompt-generated spaces where we need people with those skills, both technical and creatively, to help AI get better at what it is doing and serve our needs better. We can almost, because Africa is at the forefront of change anyway and experimentation, we can experiment and maybe be the generator of these new spaces.
Yeah, I mean, some of the areas, for example, in writing, we're talking about the literary awards just now, that those who exhibit and show examples of what AI can do, a lot of the examples are foreign examples. So it's what the language, even urban slang as America, that the various engines are quickly able to identify. How is Africa faring as far as that is concerned? That if you put input into it, it will give you output that is authentically African and that understands our environment.
And that is our gap in the market. We as Africans need to start looking inwards and give AI the metrics and the mandate and the content, so that what comes out of AI is authentically African and authentically South African. So that is generally our gap in it, and our space for experimentation. We're free to experiment as far and as wide as we want to, purely because there are no restrictions, there's no expectations. The world has been socialized around what the global West wants us to see, but Africa, and that puts Africa in a unique space where we can actually generate our own content and build our own spaces for AI. Africa has always been very good at it. If you look at the banking industry, M-Pesa was snubbed by the global West, but Africa decided that we're going to start an unbankable banking industry for the African continent and run it outside of Silicon Valley. And we should do the same with AI in African storytelling here.
Yeah. Artists who are concerned, are they justified in their concern? For example, you've got thespians in South Africa who say, well, you know, people no longer go to school of acting. They no longer get trained in the art. We simply just look at your social media numbers, and this is how auditions are done in South Africa these days. Will it get to a point where we're going to see playwrights, directors, filmmakers complaining to say, you know what, the industry is no longer what it used to be. Now, somebody can just come up with a screenplay just by typing in a couple of instructions on a search engine.
Of course it will get there, and they should complain. That keeps us real, that keeps us honest, and it keeps us authentic. It means that we have to engage still with humanity to bring back that cultural nuances of who we are as Africans and as storytellers. But, you know, like I said before, AI doesn't have a soul. Only a thespian has it. Only a writer can truly write what is the lived experience of an individual. AI can fast track that, but it can't replace humanity. Yes, people aren't going through to dramatic schools in the same fashion. But it doesn't mean that maybe perhaps the concern is that the schools haven't changed with the times, and therefore we're stagnating ourselves in a time that is bygone because we do not want to move forward.
Yeah.
Institutions needs to move with the times and train our young people alongside technology.
Is it cost inhibitive? Normally when we speak about technology, especially in the African context, third world country, they always say, well, the cost of it will be a limitation.
Yes, it is. And no, it's not, because because we have such a cost deficit, we can also generate internally. We shouldn't wait or spend outside of who we are as Africans. It's not that we do not have the talent. The world looks at us. We have technicians and creatives right now in this country that are being poached by India, who is a similar emerging market to ourselves. But they've learned to use what they have and work around a global sundial so that they can employ anyone, anywhere in the world, including South Africa. So it's not that we don't have the skills, it's not that we don't have the financial input or the abilities to actually circumvent the exorbitant cost of the technology. We just not exploiting it internally as much as we should.
Zenobia, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming in. That's Zenobia Simelane, head of school at Media City Academy, talking about the AI role in film and television.